What's happening, everybody? What's happening, everybody? Come on in the room, y'all. Come on in the room. We're going to get this thing kicked off real good. This is going to be a very important show. Very, very important show. So, y'all come on in the room. I got a lot of information. Not a lot. I got a good bit of information to drop you. There's going to be the difference between whether you go into the clink clink or you're going to stay free. I want you guys to stay right here with me. All right, let's get started, y'all. Let's get started. This is for those of you who are tuning in or haven't tuned in or it's first time. First, welcome to Plugged In. Sorry for the background change. We had a little hiccup with the other screen, but welcome to Plugged In, to where I am your favorite plug who's going to be plugging you in with the information you need in order to help you be a little bit more successful. Now, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be covering this thing that is on everybody's mind as a business owner. If you are an LLC, especially to those students who took my course last year, and I help you guys set up and establish your LLCs. This information that I'm going to be dropping you today is very, very key and vital. And this is the BOI report. Now, this BOI report was put out by this organization called FinCen. FinCen is the Federal Investigative Crime Enforcement. So these people are legit. Now, to give a quick recap before I get to showing you how to fill out this BOI report by FinCen, it only takes, ladies and gentlemen, 3 to 5 minutes, or as fast as your little fingers can type. It doesn't take long to do it. Now, this FinCen, this BOI report was put out last year. It was a whole new thing, and a lot of people start panicking because the current administration was saying, "Hey, look, we it kind of was a way to peek under the corporate veil to see who owns these LLCs." Now, very quick. Now, it was first, this came about under the last administration. This came about under the last administration, which was a good thing. Let me make sure that this volume is everybody can hear me well. If you can hear me good, put a 1 in the comments, please. If you can hear me, if you guys can hear me well. But this was put on by the last administration, which was a very sound idea by 45. 45 wanted to bring all of the offshore money that wealthy people was hiding and not paying taxes offshore. He wanted to bring that back to the United States, which would have boosted or gave a boost to the U.S. economy. Great, solid plan. But in the meantime, the old Dems was like this: "Yeah, we got you." And they waited until the current administration got in office, and boom, lo and behold, this BOI form came out, because all of that offshore money had to come back to the U.S. And just like every law that's put into practice, there is somebody paid big bucks to find a way to get around it. So when that happened, it was a mass creation of LLCs. Now, LLCs, if you guys haven't been living under a rock in the past 100 years, LLCs are limited liability corporations, which gives us as business owners limited power and accessibility to protect our liabilities by turning them into assets in the form of tax write-offs and blah, 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 blah. So, but the protection of an LLC granted us basically a blanket immunity in case you were being sued nobody could or would come after you, because it'll send them down a deep rabbit hole for them before they even found out who owned it. Now, this is not the LLC part as far as formation. If you guys want to do that, you would have to hit me offline, or give me a call, 256-438-9344. I can show you guys how to set those LLCs up and get them formed properly to protect all of your assets. Well, basically right now, anything that you own that's currently attached to your name, you're just throwing money away. Understand that. And then I'm going to get off of that. So with this new influx or mass creation of LLCs, Democrats was like, yeah, now we get to find out who's been avoiding paying taxes, who's not been paying taxes, who has been cheating in the terms of a divorce, because now you get to hide those assets from the ex-spouse, and it was no way for her to claim or split any properties if they can't hide them now. All right. Also in the form of those illegal businesses who were, and it was great. It was great why they came up with it, but you got to understand the underlying motives. And not a political conversation one way or the other. You just got to know how politics is played. So Democrats was like, okay, now we get to know who owns these businesses, who hide money, all of these criminal businesses who are fake businesses, but they're able to launder money through these LLCs. Who was involved in sex trafficking, who was involved in human trafficking, a lot of drug dealers or drug cartels who have these fake construction businesses and blah, 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 blah. Cool. But what it did do, it caused a mass panic. And I say mass panic because you guys might not have gotten the posts or the emails, but people like myself who coach people or who teach people how to do and create their LLCs, we did, or I did. The first thing that I did was read all of the information that I could on what this BOIR form is, which it stands for Business Ownership Information Report. Once you got the breakdown, the first wave of panic came into, man, see, all y'all with those LLCs, y'all gonna have to shut y'all business down. They taking y'all businesses back. No, that's not what this form is about. That's not what it's even remotely close to being about. You don't have to close your business. Now, a lot of people did, and the ones who did were basically the ones who had illegal businesses. There was just a business on paper to launder money. Those businesses are no longer with us. The next wave was those wealthy people who was trying to avoid paying luxury taxes on some of these mega million-dollar boats, airplanes, cars, houses that they had, and they never had to report that under the property tax era or section, or the inheritance tax section, because there were a lot of people, their parents might have died, and they open up these offshore accounts to keep from paying inheritance tax. You guys got to really, really, really read and study tax law. You really got to read and study tax law. And I'm not just talking about that little 1040 easy form. You really need to understand and break down your property tax, your inheritance tax, your business taxes, corporate tax. I mean, study everything. I mean, really, you can get these books for free Or if you can do, if you got online reading or audible readings, you can get all of that off of Amazon and all that, or visit your local federal court building where they have the whole entire wall there with all, especially in now's time, because this is tax seasons for a lot of you. Go in there and get those books and start reading this stuff. But now let's get back to this BOI report. There was a deadline that was set. All businesses, LLCs that was formed and created before January 1st, 2024, which was just 9 days ago, had to fill out this form. So that was all the information that was put out. But that created the second panic. The second panic was, if you didn't fill this thing out by January 1st, they was going to lock you up, or it was up to 15 years in jail, 10 to 15 years in jail, or $500 a day. That was not actual fact. That was not viable information. So what came to being was, it started January 1st, 2024, 9 days ago. And for all of us who had an LLC prior to this January 1st, you have until January 1st of 2025 to fill out this form, update all of your information, whether you LLC in your state or out of your state, whether you had a virtual mailbox or an actual mailbox, where the business location was, your EIN number, and all of this. Okay, great. So when I came on and did the last podcast, I kind of dispelled all of the panic and mass hysteria. and basically what I told everybody was, don't panic. If you, ladies and gentlemen, are running a legitimate business, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. If your LLC or your C Corp or your S Corp or your CO, your INC, whatever business you created, this just didn't apply to LLCs. It applied to everybody who has a business, especially the LLCs, because there was that anonymous blanket that we had, that corporate veil. So it applied. So whether you was in Wyoming, Nevada, what was the other? Wyoming, Nevada, Pennsylvania, or any of these other states that had, where you had protection to where they were not liable to tell who owned them, that's not true anymore. You got to tell who owns these businesses. So what happened? I kind of came on and I told everybody, look, don't panic. If you're running a legitimate business, if you're doing what you're supposed to, but you are enjoying the fruits of your labor and understanding how we get these tax breaks, these deferred taxes, these tax write-offs, that never changed. You still are entitled to all of those wonderful, beautiful write-offs. You are still getting those. They just wanted to know who was getting it. I have no problem with them knowing what I do. This is why we validate all of that information in the write-offs and stuff like that with receipts. A lot of people don't play this game or want to get this deep off into a business because there is a lot of paperwork. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a lot of paperwork to be a business. You have to have checks and balances on everything that we do. That's our protection. Now, especially for those of us who are doing what we call poor man's accounting or poor man's bookkeeping, you have to keep up with all of that. Because the average small business owner, LLC or not, I mean, you guys have checked the prices of a CPA nowadays? Those people, and that's, you hire them people with on a retainer, because now they do work. They keep up with all of your business affairs all of the year, financial planning and all of that stuff. They are good at what they do. Not in my wheelhouse, especially businesses that's under $250,000 a year. You really don't have a lot of legal wiggle room to have extra expenditures. However, if you are doing poor man's accounting or poor man's bookkeeping, it is a lot of paperwork and you want to protect yourself in the event of an audit. Trust me, from somebody who's been audited twice within 5 years. So, but I don't worry about anything that the government can bring because I have receipts. Like the young folks say, you got to keep receipts on every detail. One time I was audited, just real quick, one time I was audited, I had to pay $78.37. Now imagine that. And this is what I teach my students. Anything that you have to, even if you have to pay, as long as it's under $100, you win it. Why? Because that means you kept all of your money last year. So I was in a position to pay the $78.37, but I was still mad because that came out to me was a receipt that I didn't have. I shouldn't have had to pay anything. But I either lost the receipt or I paid cash for something that I shouldn't have paid cash for. That's the only reason I get upset. Most business people, that's the only reason we do get upset when it comes to taxation. This is why the whole big push back against business world and government is about taxes. And yes, is it unfair to the small guy, to the average Joe? Yes and no. Yes, it's unfair because the taxes that's being paid to the country is on the backs of the regular average Joe working man. Is it not unfair? No, because all you have to do is apply this game to your financial bracket. I did a quick reel on this. Actually, I posted it on my social media pages. Don't look at making $1 million. If you're not making $1 million, forget about that. Let's just say you made $80,000 last year. It is your obligation to yourself and your family to write off 60. You don't have to be a millionaire and write off 870,000. That's the play. The play is to get into that 10%, that 10 to 12% tax bracket, regardless of what you make. If you made anything over $50,000, it's your obligation and duty to yourself and your family to find a way to get in that 10 to 12% tax bracket. That's your duty to yourself and your family. If you made 80 grand, did you know you're in the 22% tax bracket? 22% and over. They just took 16,000 and change off of 80 grand. Now, that's not to even include the retail tax, the gas tax, the utility tax, the property tax. If you bought clothes, well, that goes up under retail tax. All of the other taxations and taxes that we get. So off the rip, if they took 16 and change, let's just say 16,250 off of 80, you guys can do that. That's simple math. And then you deduct, depending on what state you live in, they deducted another 7 to 10%. Every time you buy something, 7 to 10% every time you buy something. So, ladies and gentlemen, technically, you're already in the 12th percentile tax bracket, but here is the funny business. $80,000 is what you claimed as earned income. This is why it is your duty to yourself and to your family to have write-offs, because write-offs says I didn't make that kind of money. So they have to deduct that off of that 80 grand. And that's how we get into the 10 to the 12 percentile tax bracket. So if I can find a way to write off 60,000, I'm only telling the government I made 20. See what I'm saying? Here we go. So to be in the 10% tax bracket on $20,000 income, I'm only paying $2,000 as opposed to that whopping $16,250 that you pay. Is it fair? Yes, it's absolutely fair, because why? All of us can do it. There is nothing in the law books that says you cannot play this same game that the mega rich play. There is nothing on the law books that says that you can't take your name off of that house. Put it in your business's name. Now you just made money. See, with your name on everything currently right now, there's no boomerang to your money. All the money that you're currently spending out, it just goes out. It don't come back. Now, BOI form. The BOI form, I'm going to pull this up for you guys to show you just how quick and easy this is, and it is painless. So if you are a business, you are an LLC. Now, I'm not talking about these hobbies and hustles that a lot of people have. You don't have a business, you have a hustle or a hobby that's earning you extra income, and they're still chopping you at the neck in taxes because you haven't learned the game to make it a real legit business. Now, I'm not talking about them little 3 pieces of paper that's hanging up on your wall in your shop or in your establishment. I'm talking about registering a legitimate LLC. This is what's the difference between having a hustle and a hobby with extra earned income as having a legitimate business. See, the car that you drive, you don't get paid to drive that car. Even if you have an Uber Eats or Uber driver or a Lyft driver, you don't get paid to drive that car. You get paid to provide a service. The difference becomes that's having a hustle or extra earned income. The difference between having an LLC is I get paid whether it's sitting in the driveway or whether I'm sitting inside of it. That's the difference. And on law, legally, you can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Google is free to everybody. Now let's get to this BOI form. Google all the information. Don't take my word for it. Go back and research it for yourself. Then when you research it for yourself and it verifies what I just said, then it becomes actual facts. The only question remaining is, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you taking advantage of all of these wonderful, beautiful tax breaks that are freely given? This is the stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that they don't teach in school. They will never teach you this in school because they want you to stay a part of the matrix. This is the binary code that they want you to stay in, and some of us voluntarily take that pill because we don't want to rock the boat. We want to just be ordinary and not extraordinary. Now, BOI form. I'm going to share my page with you and show you guys just how quickly and easy this is to fill out this form. Now, if you have a website, or not the website, if you have a business and your business is let's cancel that, right? Okay, because I pulled this website up. I've already filled out mine. Not federal, it stands for Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. FinCen, FICEN, FinCen, FINCEN. Now, the website to go to is the BOIE filing.fincen.gov. This is the website that you want to go to. Now, you couldn't go here before January 1st. And that's when that panic hit, everybody's like, oh man, I'm gonna try to fill it out now. No, the forms weren't even available to fill out prior to January 1st. You had to wait until January 1st to fill out this document. Now, to ease that to those who actually read it and studied it, you have until January 1st, 2024 to January 1st, 2025. Now, don't be a procrastinator and wait. Don't do that. Because like all things with procrastinators, you will never get around to doing it. Then when that clock starts ticking and they start adding up them $500 a day, I don't think they're going to just start locking people up, depending on who's in office. But that $500 is going to be added. Just think if you waited 10 days, you're already at $5,000. Ooh, ooh, oh, that hurt. And with the IRS, they count weekends too. Don't get it twisted. They count days, not business days. There's a difference. Business days, Monday through Friday, all over the world. Well, at least here in the United States. But the IRS, the exception is they count the days. So Sunday through Saturday is 7. Ooh. They counting them. So you want to go on to FinCen, FinCenForms.gov. BOI. If you just typed in BOI form into your Google search, it's going to bring you here, and it's going to pull up this FinCen Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Now think about that. It was funny that they attached this LLC form to the Financial Crimes Unit. That right there is getting off into a whole nother world. They sent you straight, they created this department within the IRS to come after you if you are fictitious or fraudulent on your business filing. If you haven't paid taxes and even in this space, I'm not even worried about the taxation part because again, I have receipts. This is why it wasn't a panic. Whatever you do on the left side, it has to check on the right side. Checks, balances, scale is even. So why is everybody worried? Now, most of the people are worried. Well, let's get to this. You want to go here and then you want to click Get Started on the Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting. You hit Get Started. And then it's going to ask you whether you want to file the PDF form, which you can print that off, write it, mail it in. I did everything online. So I clicked here to file online BOIR report, or Benefit Business Ownership Information Report. Prepare and submit. Then you want to hit agree. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it's this simple. This is your first time filing this form, so you will click Initial Report. Date prepare is already done. Then you click Next. This is just so fast. Request, you want to request to receive a FinCen ID number. This way, you will have this number every year that you have to report. Now, reporting company, this first page is your business. The very first page is the information about your business. Remember that. Even if you file that LLC outside of your state, because that's another thing. You are not legally bound to establish an LLC inside of your state. Nobody can make you do that. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You are not a citizen of the state of Alabama. You are not a citizen of Gaston, Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. You are not citizens of these cities and states. You are a resident in these cities and states. This is where you reside. You live in the United States of America. So legally, you can create an LLC in any of the 50 states plus the 14 U.S. territories. I've said that once, I said that again. Now, first page, you fill out all of your own information, your business information here. Very simple, very easy to read. Reporting company's legal name. I put my business name there. Alternative name, if you DBA into somebody. You want to fill out all of this information accurately. Your tax identification type is going to be your EIN number. Your EIN number, which you got for free from the IRS themselves. You type that in. Type in your your country that you created it in, which is the United States, self-explanatory. Country again here. Then you fill out the business address. Hopefully, you guys have been watching me long enough to not use your personal resident as your business address. I hope, for the love of God and all things holy, that you do not still use your home address as your business. That's a different topic of another day. Then you just hit next. Now, I'm not going to go to the next page because I didn't fill out. I've already filled out mine. So the second page is your information. Your name, your physical residential address, because you would have had to put that on your LLC registration form. The country that you live in, the state, and all of that stuff. Now, that's the second page. The third page is your information. That is the beneficiary section. So if you are the business owner and you're not going to leave and will anything to anybody, which if you created your trust fund, if you guys have been following me long enough and you have your trust accounts set up, then that's going to be the beneficiary. That's the third page. That's it. 3 pages, and they're all short, just like that first one. Name, address. Now, instead of on the second page and third page, instead of the EIN number, the second page is going to be your social security number. The third page, the beneficiary page, if you set up your trust, it should have its own EIN number. 10 minutes. Or as fast as you can type. You just want to make sure that your information is accurate. That's all. So if you've moved, changed the phone number, changed the email address, changed the business address, first thing you should do is go to that state where you registered your LLC and update all of that information first. Because I would suspect, because if I was doing it, I would do an easy check and balance. I'm going to Google search your business name, boop, find out where that LLC is registered at. And then I'm going to cross-reference and check with the information that you put on this paper. Ooh, wait a minute. They changed addresses. Now it's going to get kicked back out again. And you got to start this all over again. That's why you want to start this as early as possible. First, you want to update all the information in the state that you registered your LLC. Secondly, you want to fill out that BOIR form ASAP. Don't wait. This is all that we got for you today. This is very vital for you, family. I'm telling you, if you have an LLC and you're going to procrastinate and wait till the last minute, it's going to be a lot of people that have some hurt feelings. December 31st of 2024 is going to be somebody Christmas is going to get canceled. I'm just going to tell you that. I am your favorite plug, RD Muhammad, plugging you in with the information that you need. I got to get back to work. I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.